Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here. And I've got another digital deck list for you guys today. And today it's going to be Virtual World. Now, this is one of those decks that I would absolutely take with me to a regional event. This is actually very well built. I didn't really get to play this one myself. This was actually all thanks to my friend Phil from Locals. Thank you, Phil. And he's also the mastermind behind the Magical Musketeers from earlier this week. So, huge shout out, huge thank you. Let's go over his deck list that he made for me as soon as this focuses. There we go. So we've got our 40 card main deck and our 15 card extra deck. And I made sure not to make any mistakes programming it in this time, because I did that last time. Now, this is one of those decks that, in all honesty, can build some very terrifying boards and also do some very control aspect things. I'm pretty sure this is going to be like one of the top decks this season. But let's get you guys the deck list, all right? So, starting off at the beginning, we're going to have 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 1 copy Called by the Grave, 1 Foolish Burial, 2 Foolish Burial Goods, 2 copies Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, 2 copies Infinite Impermanence, 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Psyframe Driver, and 3 copies of Gamma. We are going to have 3 copies Virtual World City Kowloon, 2 copies Virtual World Gate Chooch, 3 copies Virtual World Gate King Long, 1 copy Virtual Gate Jean Wu, 2 copies Virtual World Hime Nyan Nyan, 3 copies Virtual World Kirin Lily, 3 Virtual World Mahime Lulu, 1 copy Virtual World Otohime Tutu, 3 copies Virtual World Roshi Lao Lao, and 3 copies of Virtual World, and I'm just going to say GG because I'm not exactly sure how I'm supposed to pronounce that, and I really don't want to get corrected. If you guys want to send me a phonetic in the comments, that'd be amazing, and then I promise I'll say it right next time. Going into our extra deck, we're going to start it off with Constellar Ptolemy M7. That's single copy Coral Dragon, single copy Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, single copy Zeus, single Gaia Dragon the Thunder Charger, 1 Invoked Kaliga, 1 Mud Dragon of the Swamp, 1 Stardust Charge Warrior, 1 Ultimaya Zolkin, 1 copy Vermilion Dragon Mac, 1 copy Virtual World Beast Juju, 2 copies Virtual World QB Shen, 1 copy Virtual World Phoenix Fan, and 1 copy Wind Pegasus at Ignister. Sorry, I didn't raise the tablet high enough. So that is the deck list. And again, guys, I would take this one to regionals. This one was very well built. And again, Phil, thank you. I'm not sure if you're watching this, but everybody thank Phil. He's pretty cool. So before I dismiss you guys, I do want to take a second. I do want to thank you guys for stopping by and watching this with us today. I do hope that this deck list helps you. If it does, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Speaking of subscribers, yes, recently we did break the 1,000. We did it before a year of me being on here. And as sort of a thank you and a cool idea, I'm going to be answering some questions that you guys have had. Like, I've been making a list every time I've been emailed, every time there's like a really good comment. But those ones obviously never got answered to where everybody knows, just the person who asked. So what we're going to do, and what I'd like you guys to do, is if you guys have any questions for me that you actually want me to answer, just go ahead and leave those in the comment section. And the best ones that we get, again, before the 23rd of this month. And I'm just going to do a video, and I'm going to answer all these questions for you guys. We'll just take a little afternoon, and we'll just have a little quick chat about it. But again, thank you for watching. Subbing if you haven't. Thanks if you have. Let your friends know, and the most important part is just have a great day, guys. I'll see most of you on the next video. Everybody else, let's talk over the effects real quick. So the first effect is going to be Ash Blossom, but we already know that this is going to stop interactions with our opponent in their deck. We do have Called by the Grave, which is going to basically stop a hand trap. Foolish Burial sends a monster from your deck to the discard. Foolish Burial Good sends a spell trap from your deck to the discard. Ghost Bell and Mansion. This one's a little different. When a card or effect is activated that includes any of the following, you can discard to negate. If it's add cards from grave to hand, deck, or extra deck, special summon from the grave, or banish cards from the grave. So this one is Ash Blossom, but instead of interaction with the deck, it's interaction with the discard pile. Very good. Infinite Impermanence. good turn 0 trap card, the literal definition of a hand trap. And again, it's going to be able to just negate out a monster's effect, very much like Effect Veiler would. Doesn't matter which player's turn it is, though. I know Effect Veiler is opponent's main phase. So that's good. And then, of course, gets the bonus effect that if it was set and resolved while it was on the field, rather than played from the hand, you can also stun the spell trap card in the same column on your opponent's side. Monster Reborn, very good for just doing things that you want to do. Psyframe Driver Gamma is part of the hand trap pack. The Gamma will play the driver and allow you to do stuff. If you guys are interested in that and you don't know this, cannot be normal summoned or set, must first be special summoned by card effect. When your opponent activates a monster effect while you control no monsters, quick effect special summon this from the hand and driver from hand, deck, or discard. And if you do, negate the activation. And if you do that, destroy the monster. During the end phase, banish the face-up monsters special summoned by this effect. Again, this is okay. One of the best things to do is, again, if you're playing through an opponent's hand trap or they have a monster that's going to have an interrupt effect on the field, this allows you to board a couple of monsters, stop an effect, and actually go into synchros. And as long as they're going into synchros and they don't get banished, then the best part is you'll be able to reuse that single driver every time. So it's kind of a self-feeding loop. Now let's get into some of these virtual world cards, because again, these are the real reason you guys came here, not just the packages of how to stop stuff. So if we look at the virtual world City Kowloon, normal spell, place a virtual world gate card from deck face up into a spell or trap zone, and then apply the following effects in sequence based on the number of gate cards that you control. If it's 2 or more, all virtual monsters you control gain 200 this turn. 3 or more, do that, and then also send the top 3 of your deck to the graveyard. And if 4, special summon up to 4 virtual world monsters with different names from your extra deck. Kind of the finisher move right there. Pretty cool. You can only activate one of these per turn. This way you don't just kind of loop out by having a stacked hand with them. Very cool. Did I actually skip one there? No, I didn't. Okay. Trap card Chooch, continuous. You can target one face-up card on the field, shuffle 2 of your banished virtual world cards with different names from each other into the deck, then destroy that card. So this is going to give you a lot of recurrence while still being able to do some spot removal. During the main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target a virtual world monster that you control, increase or decrease its level or rank by 3 until the end of the turn. You can only use each effect once per turn. So again, that's still pretty good. So 2 is a very good ratio here. For King Long, continuous spell, you can banish 1 virtual world card from your graveyard, then target a face-up monster on the field. Negate its effects until the end of this turn. So again, this is going to be very cool. It's going to be very control-oriented. You can banish this from the graveyard to add 1 virtual world monster from your deck to your hand, and then send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. Use each effect once per turn. And again, this would be a great place for Driver to come into effect. So if you had Driver in your hand plus this, you would be able to still get Driver into discard, and then Gamma could still recur it for its own effect. So very cool, very strong. Zhongwu, we run the single continuous trap during the battle phase. If you control another virtual world gate, you can target a face-up monster on the field, change its battle position. During the main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a virtual world monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but negate its effects, then send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. You can only use each effect once per turn. You can only activate 1 of these per turn. So very powerful, and again, a lot of reasons to only run it at 1, just right there in the effect. And so we just didn't want to go too overboard. Now the monsters. So the first one being Yan Yan, nice little psychic 3-star. If a level 3 monster or monsters is normal special summon to the field while this is in your graveyard, you can special summon this as a tuner. So it will gain tuner, which is awesome. Banish this when it leaves the field. Also for the rest of this turn, you can only special summon level or rank 3 or higher monsters. If this card is banished, you could target one of your other banished cards, shuffle it into the deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. So again, we get this banish, we get this recurrence. This is going to be a theme. After Nyan Nyan, we have Lily. Lily, if this card is in your hand, you can target a virtual world card you control and send 1 virtual virtual world card of a different type, whether it be monster, spell, or trap, from the deck to the discard, and if you do, special summon this card. Then you can send one virtual world card of the third type from your deck to the graveyard, except Kira and Lily. For the rest of this turn, you can only special summon level or rank 3 or higher monsters. You can only use this effect once per turn. But again, that's a very cool extension and boards itself very rapidly. The 3 copies of Lulu, this one is a tuner on its own. If this card is in your hand, you can target a virtual world card you control. Send one card of a different type from the deck to the graveyard. If you do special summon this, then you can add one virtual world card of the third from the deck to the hand, except same name. For the rest of this turn, you can only special summon level 3 or rank 3 or higher monsters. Only use this effect once per turn, so this one's very good as well. 2/2, we run it at 1. Kind of a couple reasons. First, it's a 6-star. Second, the main effect here. So if you control no monsters or all monsters you control are psychic and or worm, you can normal summon this without tribute. Normal summon is not as good as special summon, but I think you guys will like the rest of this effect. So if this card is in your graveyard, you can discard a psychic or worm, special summon this back as a tuner, which is kind of crazy, but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, the rest of this turn, you guessed it, special summoning. You can only special summon level or rank 3 plus monsters for the remainder of the turn, only using this effect once per turn. So again, normal summon is fine, but getting it to be able to special summon better. That's going to put us down to Lau Lau. If this card is in your hand, you could target one virtual world card you control, send one virtual world card of a different type from deck to discard, special summon, and then you can special summon one virtual world monster from your graveyard in defense with a different name than the card sent to the graveyard, but negate its effects. And then again, for the rest of the turn, level 3 or rank 3 plus monsters only. So again, very cool, very strong. And the last one up is going to be GG. If this card is in your hand, you can target a virtual world card that you control, send one virtual world card of a different type from the deck to the discard, and if you do special summon this card, during the end phase of this turn, you can add one virtual world monster from your graveyard to your hand, except GG. For the rest of the turn, you can only special summon, you guessed it, level or rank 3 plus monsters. You can only use this effect once per turn. So again, there's a lot of, you can't play the lower level stuff, but it's always fine. And then moving off into the extra deck, we're just going to breeze this real quick too. We do have Constellar Ptolemy, 2 level 6s to make. You can also Xyz using a Constellar Xyz monster you control as material. We don't. If summoned this way, the following effect cannot be activated this turn. And I'm guessing that means if you played it through a Constellar. But the effect is, once per turn, you can detach material from this card, then target a monster on the field or in either graveyard and return that target to the hand. This is good if you want to recur your own stuff or bounce your opponent's stuff. Super good, super utility. Coral Dragon is one of those Synchro tuners. He is going to be 6-star. It is generic tuner, non-tuners, and this is going to help out with all the level 3 plays and the ones that come back as tuners or were already tuners. Once per turn, you can discard one card, target a card your opponent controls, destroy it. If this Synchro summoned card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can draw one card. So again, if we can immediately synchronize with it again, guess what? We get to get another draw card. Brilliant card. Great overall. Crystal Wing Synchro requires a tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner Synchro monsters. So that's another thing. Once per turn, when another monster's effect is activated, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy the monster. And if you do that, this card also gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack until the end of this turn. So if there were any modulations, whether it's a plus or minus, you're going to use the printed stat, not the modified stat. If this card battles an opponent's level 5 or higher monster during the damage calculation, this card will additionally gain attack equal to the current attack of the opponent's monster it's battling during that damage calculation only. So it's almost got a built-in honest as well. Very powerful dragon, very situational. Honestly, I think the best way to play that is you end up as Coral Dragon, and then you have to find your 2-star. But again, I don't know that you can. Just because of the fact that it's already a tuner. So I'm not sure why that one's in here. I'll have to ask later. I think you guys all know Zeus. Once per turn, if an Xyz monster battled this turn, then you could use it as material to summon this, which means this is a main phase 2 summon. You transfer materials just like you think you would, and then as a quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from this card, send all other cards on the field to the graveyard. Once per turn, if another cards you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can attach 1 card from your hand, deck, or extra deck to this card as material. So again, this is pretty cool. It can definitely boost itself up, but essentially is a board wipe. You do have Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger. You can Xyz summon this using a rank 5 or 6 as material instead. And this one just inflicts piercing, so still not bad. Invoked Kaliga. Either player can only attempt to activate 1 monster effect per turn. Each player can only attack with 1 monster during each battle phase. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely thinking this was an instant fusion target. And I don't know where the instant fusion is. I don't exactly understand how you're going to play that or the Mud Dragon. So I'm not too sure why he had those 2 in here. I'll ask him later. If you guys know why those are in here, outside of maybe just materials for Zeus, let me know. The Stardust Charge Warrior is another great 6. Very generic. When this is Synchro Summon, draw 1 card. You can only use this effect once per turn. This card can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls once each, so it's almost like Ostro Priest. Just a bit weak, being 2k at 6 stars. We do have I knew I was going to mess this up at least once today. Ultimaya Zulkin. So technically this level is always supposed to be treated as a 12, cannot be Synchro Summoned. Must be special summoned from the extra deck by sending 2 level 5 or higher monsters you control with the same level to the graveyard. 1 being tuner, 1 being non-tuner. Once per turn when a spell or trap cards is set on your field, except during the damage step, you can special summon a power tool, synchro monster, or a level 7 or 8 dragon synchro from your extra deck. And this is going to be the way that you're actually going to be playing your Crystal Wing. While you control another Synchro monster, monsters cannot target this guy for attacks. Also, your opponent cannot target it with effects. Kind of weak, no stats, but still. Very cool card, and it does let you play into your other monster. The Vermilion Dragon Mac is going to be a 9-star. And 9 stars is also very achievable in this build. Tuner plus non-tuners, once per turn, banish a tuner from your hand, grave, or face up on the field, then target a card on the field and destroy it. So a lot of spot control, spot removal. And then if this is if this synchro summoned card is destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard, target one of your banished tuners and add it back to your hand. So again, if you're using Gammas, but our side-frame driver is still around somewhere, then we can still go back into using Gamma as a live hand trap. So that's very cool. Moving into the virtual world cards here, we do have the 1-copy Juju. Very generic again. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects while you have 2 or more monsters in your graveyard with the same original type and attribute with different names. You can banish 2 monsters from the graveyard with the same original type attribute with different names. Target 1 card on the field, send it to the graveyard. Activate this once per turn, not bad. Moving off to Shen, most important one. That's why we're running this one at 2. Again, generic 9-star this time. Any card sent from the field to the graveyard is banished instead. Guys, that is Macrocosmos. That is a great effect and really helps us feed into dropping a lot of our opponent's effects. If I'm not too mistaken, this really zeroes out the account of all hand traps, or at least most hand traps. I think Nibiru and Impermanence will still get through, but I don't think Ash Blossom works. I'm not sure. You can only use each of the following effects of Shen once per turn. When your opponent declares an attack, you could return 1 banished monster to the owner's graveyard. During your main phase, except the turn this is sent to the graveyard, you can banish 2 other monsters in your graveyard with different original types and attributes from each other to special summon this back. So again, it's just notoriously hard to remove from the field for good, but 2, because you're probably going to play it a couple of times. We do have the Xyz Fan on 6, 26 by 20. Once per turn, you can detach 2 materials from this. Target a face-up card your opponent controls and 1 card in either graveyard, banish both. If this Xyz summoned card is destroyed by battle with an opponent's attacking monster or by an opponent's card effect while it's in its owner's monster zone, you can special summon 2 virtual world monsters with the same type and attribute as each other from the deck. Only activate this once per turn. Also very cool, very tech. but not really something that you need more than one of. And our last pick here is the Wind Pegasus Adagnister. And again, this is going to come in a lot of handy because you do have the off chance where you can do a 7. During the main phase, you can destroy spell traps your opponent controls up to the number of Adagnisters that you control, so this would be 1. If another card or cards you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect while this is on the field or in the graveyard, you can banish this card, target a card your opponent controls, shuffle it back into the deck, using each effect only once per turn, but both of those effects are actually pretty darn good. And what it's just going to give you some more utility. So, again, kind of not sure why we have the 2 fusions in here. I probably should have asked him. If you guys know, or maybe it really is just material for Zeus, which is fine, or maybe there was supposed to be an instant fusion in here, that's also fine. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed this. I really do. And it's time for me to do that thing I always do and say that the most important thing that you could do for me now, the biggest favor is, go have a great day. Just go do something that you enjoy, and I will catch you guys on the next video. See you later, my friends.